go. Right? Some random dude. He's the landlord in Ace Ventura, the first one, the real one, the good one. Just some random appearance in a movie, and yet he had one of the most memorable scenes. I hear animals in there, Ventura. Animals, right? The Ventura. Yes, Satan? Like, he just had this small little random memorable moment. That's what the NFL playoffs is all about. That's what Wild Card Weekend is all about. We have no idea what's going to happen, who the hero is, anything like that. As soon as you think you do, as soon as you get a handle on it, this Tone Loc is going to steal the show, or whoever played Einhorn is going to steal the show. Next thing you know, you get some rando like this landlord coming in here, stealing the scene. I smell animals in there, Ventura. Come on. Who's going to be the one smelling animals this week? Is it going to be some random defender on the Jags? Is it going to be somebody in the first game in Seattle? Probably not Seattle, but we do the NFL 5-5. That's all. Just a simple 5-5 here for you. Okay. 5 bets in 5 minutes. Let's start the clock. Right. Let me just make sure I got it. We got it. Thumbs up, subscribe. You know the drill. Let's begin. First play on the board. All right. And we're going to build 2 separate same game parlays here to make 5 total bets. First play is an alternate, San Francisco -2.5. Now, the kicker here is that if one of these 2 miss, then the entire thing misses, right? But we're going to bust this down. This is equivalent of running the Niners in a teaser to get them through 3. That's the biggest thing that we want to be able to do, is push this line. We don't like Seattle in any regard here, but I also don't like Seattle in some backdoor cover either. I just can't trust that right now. So it's a problem, big time problem, when I think you look at this game, expecting the 49ers to just cruise a divisional opponent, especially in this case when you have that backdoor open. We saw that prior with Seattle, and I just don't want to take that risk again. So we open up our first of 2 here, is busting this line down, San Fran -2.5. The next play is George Kittle. And oh boy, George Kittle right now is on a scoring tear. And if you just look at anytime touchdowns, the fact that we're getting plus money, I get it at plus 155 here. It's solo going to be a little higher. But even in the same game parlay, this is a guy who has scored now 4 straight games. And even in that absence, he had some scoring opportunities, that kind of 3-game lull. And then he's back with the 2 touchdown game. He is just as much of a threat to cross the end zone twice as he is to not score. That's insane. So you can split the difference. You can work the middle. You can do anything you want in that regard and drop that anytime touchdown with a guy who has been scoring at a really strong clip and boost that same game parlay back up to plus 190. So we're in pretty good shape right now as we open up the first 2 bets, at least in the first game, Seattle, San Fran, busting Seattle down to -2.5, and then adding in that anytime touchdown. All right, let's build a 3-leg here. This one's going to be simple. We're going to start with the under 47.5 in this game. Don't really like a lot beyond the Jaguars just keeping this thing close. I don't think this is a shootout. Mike Williams is now out for Justin Herbert to throw to. I think Brandon Staley is a walking liability. I'll give you all the stats, the trend, the history with Doug Peterson. It came with a different team. So I can't fully rely on that, take the Jags to the money line here or stretch that side even. But what I do think is Doug Peterson's a smart enough coach with a smart quarterback, with a strong crew around him, especially with that running back and Travis Etienne. You can keep Justin Herbert and company off the field. You're not going to entertain a shootout because you're at home. You don't need to. And Peterson's a smart enough coach. He's definitely better than the other guy, and that I have no problem with. I lied. We are going to stretch this game out a little bit. I just didn't want to do that right away. We'll push the Jags to plus 7.5. Now, that's at plus 150. We still need to add another play, which we will. But again, Doug Peterson, the Jags, it's their first time in. Peterson's 2-1 straight up against the spread in his first 3 times with the team in the playoffs, meaning their playoffs first game for that team that year. He's got a strong record. He's got a strong record defensively, even though that's not his bag, meaning defensive coordinators, Jim Schwartz and company, have been able to take advantage of just running the defense, do their
have some fun, a little Friday the 13th action today, Gun. Anything goes. All right, Stokastic, here we go. It's your old pal EMac coming to you on a Friday afternoon with your friend and mine, Gundacker, as we break down a little no house advantage on a spooky Friday the 13th. Gun, Friday the 13th in January just doesn't hit as hard. You know when the next one is this year?
I don't.
Oh, if you had to guess a month for Friday the 13th.
Okay, so I'm imagining Halloween. I mean, October.
It would be the month of Halloween.
Obviously, Halloween. Halloween is not on Friday the 13th. Yeah, October. That's right.
I was told there would be no calendars today.
Yeah, no, I thought it was like a movie reference, but I mean, obviously it is, right? I don't know. I don't watch spooky movies. So.
No, that's the one thing. I don't like scary movies at all. Yeah. I didn't really like the series Scary Movie. I saw a few of them. I thought it was marginally funny. It was just they would have been better about half as long, but hat tip to the trying to go in the same vein as Airplane or some of those other screwball comedies, the Naked Gun series, etc., etc. It's always fun when you see that. Or Soul Plane, I believe that wasn't Snoop Dogg in that one? That was a funny one as well.
Yeah.
I'm dating myself, but that's okay. But here we go. We've got 30 minutes here where we're going to talk to you about no house advantage. Producer Mike, stop calling me Shirley. But let's talk some no house advantage here first. We have, of course, $100 deposit match up to $100. Wait for it. Why is that? Because they're going to match your first 100. You put in 10, they give you 10. Put in 50, they give you 50. Put in 100, they're going to give you 100. But you got to come in through the link below us here in the YouTube description. That gets you on over to No House Advantage. 2 game formats versus the house. Much like player props, you build out a parlay card, 2, 3, 4, or 5 questions. Get all 5 right. If you put 5 on the card, you get 21x highest payout in the business. Those are dynamic props. Those are for those. Those will be if you're in a state that's not quite enlightened, doesn't have legalized sports wagering yet. It'll scratch that itch if you have no house advantage there. That's quite helpful. The other thing that we're going to focus on for most of the show is the tournament version of No House Advantage. This is why they call it No House Advantage. We're not going against the house. Peer-to-peer games, just like we do on the other DFS sites, except instead of salaries, we've got player props. These player props are static. Once they are released, much like salaries, they do not change for news. That's so we all have an equal playing field over what we're selecting from. That's the equivalent of our player pool. We have multiple props for the majority of players that are in the pool. You'll see points plus rebounds plus assists. It's PRA. You get points, rebounds, you get assists, you get 3-pointers, you get steals, blocks, variety of things out there. You can use each player once in a card. We put these in confidence rankings, 10 through 1. As we get our questions correct, we get those points. Those points go into the contest. That's how we score against our other gamers. Once you see it, it's pretty simple in concept. But essentially, we're building a 10-leg parlay. But if we get anything wrong, that's okay. We're still getting points for anything we get right. Gun, any exciting news up at the top here? You were wondering what's up with DeMar DeRozan. We know couple other key players are questionable / potentially out. We're still without Bradley Beal, but we're waiting on Kristaps Porzingis, Monte Morris, and Daniel Gafford. So we can't really judge that situation. Jalen Duren is still out. And Isaiah Stewart questionable. So that could be some front court love there for some of the Detroit props. We do have Trae Young back in action. No Tyrese Halliburton. So that could open up some backcourt minutes there. Let's see. Steph Curry and Wiggins are back in action. So we've got some live numbers there with the old Golden State. I'm not seeing anything too crazy. A tall guy. A big tall guy. The 2-time reigning MVP, he's not playing tonight. Nikola Jokic is out. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for Ivica Zubac? Does that mean there's a non-traditional center on the court? Zubac could lose minutes.
I mean, is DeAndre Jordan going to play?
No.
I mean, I don't.
Not even a remember me game. No, it's not happening. Not happening.
That's got to be the biggest gap between talent from a starter to his backup in like history, man. That's a wild.
Coach Malone's just looking down there. Hey, Gordon, you want to get in there center tonight?
That's wild.
Boy, we got all sorts of good stuff here, but let's look at the props here. I'm going to put the link into chat because these are free because No House Advantage said, hey, why don't you give them some free props here? So I'm going to drop this link into chat. 3 tabs on this page. The first one, that's the versus the house. This changes, updates about every 4 or 5 minutes for prop news, and the Stokastic projections come out of our tools every time we do an update. That's the first tab, versus the house. We're going to focus on the pick'em projections. The third tab, the optimal lineups. That's if you just want to look and see which should I make my 10-point questions, which should my 9-point questions be, etc. You can download that CSV. There's a few hundred lineups in there, or you can just kind of eyeball it and see which ones we're looking at. That DeMar DeRozan, those unders are going to come out. He's unlikely to play, so just set those aside for now. If you play a player that does not play on No House Advantage, you get a 0. There are no points for that, even if you choose the under. Oh, the other thing is your players' props don't lock until their game locks. That's a key thing to remember as well. I still wouldn't want to mess around with somebody who's questionable, lest you forget to go back and change things. All right, Gunn, what do we got here at the top for you? We'll look at some of our unders here. Does anything look even remotely appealing to you here?
Man, I tell you what, for
Mike Conley, let's pick somebody who's not questionable.
Yeah, for the unders, we get to the 80s pretty quickly. Usually there's a couple staggered in the 90s, so it might be a fun overnight. You mentioned Kyle Anderson, probably our top probable guy with some unders, and I'm fine with taking unders on Kyle Anderson almost all the time when that team is healthier. He does have an illness, so technically he is questionable, and has been better this year. But the rebound line here is 8 or 7.5. That's right on the nose of his. No, actually, that's 3 less than his average, and he really hasn't touched 7.5 ever. So I'll take the under on the Kyle Anderson rebounds, and I think that'll start us off on the unders.
That looks like a good one. Another one we have here is Mike Conley, points, rebounds, and assists. 26.5 is the No House Advantage number. Stokastic coming in at 21.1. While it could be exciting, while he could get there, we want to remember Colin Sexton should be back tonight. So that's just one more person there. At some point they're going to put depending on if they're buyers or sellers, right? I guess we could look at this through both lenses, but I could see, Mike Conley ending up with the contender if the Magic continues, or if the Magic starts to falter here with the Jazz as they slide towards the play-in game, or they could decide they want to make a run this year with their island of misfit toys. But the point being, they're not going to push him. Remember, last year he hardly, if ever, played on back-to-backs, and he was mostly healthy last year. So here he is a year older, now playing on some back-to-backs. They're not going to run him into the ground. So I like the under on that one. We also have a very crowded Orlando Magic team right now. Cole Anthony, PRA, points, rebounds, and assists, 22.5. We have him for just 18.1. What do you feel about the Magic? It's a full house. It's a full bag of tricks, if you will. The Magic bag of tricks. See what I
okay.
did?
All right.
That was for you. Dad jokes. One for EMac.
And the thumb trick, I don't know how to do it. Yeah, I would certainly lean here. It's like you said, the Magic are pretty healthy, but they're almost frustratingly healthy. Sometimes you'll look at these minute rotations at the end of the night and be like, okay, that guy closed today. But they're semi deep at every position, especially the guard area as well. So I'll always lean the under, but we have to accept that it's going to come with some volatility night here, night there, especially against a team like the Jazz that typically play in higher scoring affairs.
All right, last one I have on the unders, and then we'll talk about the overs. So I'm scrolling all the way down here, looking at Rudy Gobert. We have him for points, rebounds, and assists. Stokastic is at 30. It's a pretty solid number. 33.5 is the number for no house advantage. If we just go and look at kind of what he's been doing on this season. Now we know that Karl-Anthony Towns obviously is out, but Gobert is averaging just 14 points per game. That's kind of on the lower end of where he has been. The rebounds down to 12, also on the lower end. So that's 26. And then he gets about 3 assists a week. So we're looking at on average about a 27 PRA there. Even if we bump it up 10% for no Karl-Anthony Towns, you can sort of see, oh, okay, well that's how we're kind of getting approximately to the number that Stokastic is coming up with. And then the other wild card is he going to take any shots? So here are his last 6 games: field goal attempts 8, 12, 15, 10, 3. 3, reaching back farther, 5, 7, 4. Now he makes his shots, but he doesn't take more than 6 or 7 a game unless it's really warranted. The vast majority of those are putbacks on offensive rebounds and dunks. So the success rate off the charts, the volume disappears quickly. I'm good with the under on that one. Do you have anything else on the unders, or do you have an over? Would you like to lead us on to the over page?
Yeah, I guess the poster boy, the thumbnail, Zacharias Leviticus, Zach LaVine, looking like he's gonna have another big opportunity today in the absence, or the projected absence, of DeMar DeRozan. We watch LaVine's usage go to 32% when DeRozan's not on the court. So expecting this guy to lead the team in points. And there's a couple of fun clicks at the top that are Zach LaVine related. We can get him at 2.5 3-pointers made, or we can get him at over 23.5 points. And we have him projected for almost 30. I'd rather just sweat the points than threes, but the threes is still low enough that if LaVine scores 30 points, he hit 3 threes. So I think that's probably going to be the most popular 10-point over tonight, is something related to Zach LaVine. So that's where I would start.
Yeah, that definitely makes the most sense, especially with DeRozan looking like he's going to be a no-go there, as doubtful with that sore quad. The other one that really jumps out, Buddy Hield, 2.5 3-pointers. Stokastic projecting him for 4.4. Well, we know Buddy Hield shoots a lot of 3-pointers. We know Buddy Hield mostly only shoots 3-pointers. There's no Tyrese Halliburton. So Buddy Hield does see a significant uptick in his offensive opportunities when Halliburton is out. Looks like Halliburton, I think he's going to be out for a couple of weeks, it sounds like. So we know that we're looking for veteran presence there. Hield knows his role. That's a decent one. We have Miles Turner is still dinged up. He was a late scratch in the 2 nights ago. He is questionable with the back spasms. And then you've got Aaron Nesmith and O'Shea Brissett are questionable as well. So all of a sudden you have a potential void here of about 25 field goal attempts that need to be filled in. You know who's really not going to fill them in? TJ McConnell. Nembhard, he'll give it the old college try, as will Duarte. I'm assuming they're dusting him off for this, or not, or they're inserting him into the rotation for more than 20 minutes tonight. But Buddy Hield looks pretty good. I'm sure you're co-signing on that. What else is popping out here for you, guys?
Yeah, Buddy Hield should chuck maybe 11, 12 threes tonight. So I'm cool with vibing on the over there. Kawhi Leonard at 18.5 real points, also one that kind of sticks out. We got news last night that Paul George will be out. So Denver team without Jokic and now a Clippers team without Kawhi Leonard certainly sets up pretty well for Kawhi, who would probably be a safe bet like into the 20s. We haven't projected it almost over 27 points, and that's almost a 10-point clearance over the NHA line. So that's another really, really strong over for me. And then Jamal Murray, 4.5 assists is their line. We haven't been over 6. One of the things Jokic takes off the court, obviously, is a lot of facilitation and a lot of assist potential. So it will be on guys like Jamal Murray to maybe pick up some of that playmaking. And this could be a night where he flirts with double-digit assists. So to get such a low line here is a good opportunity. Doing an NBA Wowie for Murray on, Jokic off. Jamal Murray's assist rate goes to 26%, which isn't like Harden, Trae Young, Tyrese Halliburton, but 26% is fine. That's probably something that's going to land into like 7, 8 assists here. So really good opportunity at the over 4.5 assists for him. Steph Curry's at 3.5 assists. I know we were a little bit unsure about what his minutes would be in his first night back in a projected blowout. He got to 31 minutes in a blowout, kind of averaging almost 7 assists per game. Didn't get a whole lot of assists in that one, but I think in this spot against San Antonio Spurs, worst defense in basketball, should be able to clear 5, 6, 7 assists pretty quickly with as much as that team plays hot potato. So I do like the over for Steph Curry there. Klay Thompson, that'll correlate pretty well with the Steph Curry assists. Matter of fact, EMac, I believe this game is in the Alamo Dome. So a little extra pizzazz. This is going to be the highest attended basketball game
of
ever.
The season.
I think ever.
Oh, ever?
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on that, but it's a stadium, not an arena. So a little extra spunk for these players to put up a show. So Curry 3.5 assists would correlate pretty well with Klay Thompson's over 2.5 threes. And that's a really, really low line for him, considering that he's liable to take double-digit 3-point attempts, 14 of them in his last outing. He's taken 10 plus in every game since Christmas. So I like pairing those two together. And then Buddy Hield points again. You mentioned the assists, the 3-pointers. 14.5 points is about a 7-point cushion from what we're looking like on our projection. Got to make up a lot of the offense and might become the leader of that starting crew. And he's going to chuck 20-plus shot attempts. So I like that for Buddy Hield. And then maybe we can get into some of the other Denver Nuggets, some Aaron Gordon.
The Aaron Gordon one looks pretty good. A variety of them do. The assists look good. We know he's a good secondary facilitator. Now, there's a lot of there's Jamal Murray, who's point guard, but as you mentioned, when Jokic is out, he that's 8 or 9 assists that get to go elsewhere. What we also see is Bones Highland and some of those other guys ticking up, but I think he can get 2 assists from Aaron Gordon. That Eric Gordon, not so sure. He's just going to shoot it when he gets it. Aaron Gordon, however, no relation, will be looking to pass from time to time. Those were kind of popping. I wanted to look at Sabonis here as well, because he's someone that can put up some eye-popping numbers. You want to always be careful with his points. He doesn't tend to take a lot of field goal attempts. He's very, very good. This year he's converting, I don't have his numbers up, but it's almost 60% per game, but he's only taking about 12 field goal attempts per game. He does get to the line 7, 8, 9 times per game. He is leading the league, or he might have fallen to second in rebounds. He was up near 12.5, 12.7 last time I looked. And then he also gets a lot of assists. So I prefer the PRA to anything else for him. He's going against Houston in this game, or we saw this game on Wednesday, 250 points between Sacramento and Houston. And this is just something where I think Sabonis is someone that you want to look to. I'm getting his numbers up here. Yeah. So 12.4 rebounds per game. That is leading the league. He is more often than not, he's just kind of topping out around 12, 13 field goal attempts. So I was getting nervous about the points, even though he does get the lines a lot. But his when you look at his assists, I'm going to read backwards for his last 8 games or so: 9, 8, 7, 8, 8, 4, 8, 5, 10, 12. He does a lot of passing. Yes, De'Aaron Fox is there, but the way they do the inside-out offense and when he works on the high poster from the elbow, Sabonis does get the offense tends to run through him, and he's a good passer, which he hits the cutter a lot. So I like the PRA in this one. I always get a little nervous on the rebounds because they're so high. And you would, like I took his at 12.5 2 games ago. He did not get there. He only got 10. So, it's not that, double digits, we're asking for a lot here. But once you spread that out across the PRA, I like that, even though the PRA is usually a little bit lower success rate. Now we have him at 44.5. We have him for 42. I'd still take the over on that one, probably a 3 or a 4. But I feel the way the game's going to go, that one can be good. And that's why, we look at the different probabilities here, right? I mean, halftime is going to be there, halftime it's not. Not everything gets to be 80%. And those 80% ones fail too, right? Nothing's 100% in DFS. But that's a player I like to look to a lot here, just to sort of shake up some names on this gun. Anything else you want to cruise on and look at some of these versus the house props? What any other players you want to throw out there? We did Bojan Bogdanovic, perhaps a CJ McCollum carrying the water. Boy, he dropped a 38. Well, I think it was 38 points the other night. Someone asked me, I filled in for Lindquist on Live Before Lock. They asked me for and like, EMac, you always come up with an off the ball play. I said, oh, tonight, how about CJ McCollum? Woo, I guessed right on that one. Or I got it right. I'm not sure. You can't really, it's too hard to victory lap these things. So this is not a victory lap, but it's like, wow, that was a pretty good one. Yesterday I had Pascal Siakam. Tonight I'm going back to Domantas Sabonis. Fingers crossed. Let's hope he gets there for us. But what else you got here? And then we can go look at some versus the house wagers.
I think CJ McCollum's an excellent call out. He was one of my favorite players. It was at that Knicks game, maybe. It was one of my favorite. He's been one of my favorite clicks the last couple of weeks in the absence of both Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. Got to be the guy that carries the load. Rocking a 31.5% usage rate with a 30% assist rate. So yeah, he's gonna chuck. He's very, very good to sweat, I guess, in DFS. The 2.5 3-pointers is the top prop there. Has taken 8 or more 3-point attempts in the last couple games. I'd probably sweat something that's not as specific, just because I can throw a blanket over everything he's gonna do. Maybe points, maybe assists, maybe PRA. But yeah, I'm with you. I like CJ quite a bit. The 20.5 real point prop, we have him at 25. And the Pistons are a team I've been attacking all year with point guards. So everything just kind of aligns really well to go some CJ props. So I'll co-sign that one with you. And then it looks like Mike looked up. It is going to be the largest attended NBA regular season game tonight. So, hey, Steph Curry likes the bright lights, and maybe it makes us feel better. We put a little narrative on our math to feel good.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Mike looked that up, and it's for the 50th anniversary of the Spurs. They're playing tonight in the Alamo Dome. So that's a lot of fun. I like when teams embrace things from time to time, get a little different action here. Hey, a couple of things I want to point out there. We talked about the No House Advantage $100 deposit match. I'm going to tell you how to get some free Stokastic here. You got to go over there to stokastic.com/avatar, download that avatar, upload it on your favorite DFS sites. If you place top 3 in any contest with 5,000 or more people, we will get you 30 free days of Stokastic Premium. That's first, second, or third, not tying with 50 of your favorite friends as you do a showdown slate, but first, second, or third. So if you got a 3-way tie for first, you get the math. You finished in the top 3 if you finish first. So that will get you 30 free days of Stokastic Premium. Tweet your screenshots there with that avatar to Stokastic HOF on Twitter, and we will get you guys out into the weekly readout. You'll get to see your name in lights. It'll be a lot of fun. And hey, even if you're not top 3 in a 5,000 person contest, but you want to celebrate a win, we celebrate all wins large or small, because we like to have fun here. That's the whole point of Stokastic. But that's just, a little hook there for you if you want to get 30 free days. And then I did mention that No House Advantage, the two different game formats here. So we're going to switch over and talk to you about the versus the house. You still get the free $100 deposit match. You can choose either of these game formats. That is the prize pool, the GPP, the contest side. You're going to get overlay there. That's the marketing ploy here for No House Advantage. They watch other sites run that to their success. So most nights you're getting between 15 and 35% overlay. What that means is that contest is filling up 15 to 30% less entry fees coming in than what they're paying out. So when you go live, it'll look like you're winning money immediately. That's called overlay, right? It's implied value. You still have to monetize it. You still need to get your picks correct, but that is how you work overlay into your favor. When we look at the versus the house, these are the dynamic prop lines. And they're going to be closer to like 60, like you get a 63 or a 64, 67% maybe probability of it hitting. That's going to be good, right? We're not going to see any 70s, 80s, or 90s here. We did see a 71 the other day. I can't remember who it was. Somebody's 3-point bet, and they had hung a bad line. Well, it wasn't a bad line, but they had hung a line that because they didn't want to put it up and have ties available. So they can't put juice on this, right? Because it's that would no longer be fantasy. It would be sports wagering if you were doing it that way. So they just have a yet kind of higher or lower. Those are your only choices. So sometimes you can find a little wiggle room there. But we're going to move over to there. And as I mentioned, I dropped the link into the YouTube chat. I will put it in here again. You've got the old versus the house side here. So it looks like up near the top, and this is where, you want to start to look for unders. You want to go where the value is pointing you. Gun. We've got Julius Randle. 11.5 is the rebound line. We're projecting him for 10.3. Now, there's still some moving parts here. We don't know what's going on with Daniel Gafford. We don't know what's going on with Kristaps Porzingis. Those would be competing for rebounds with Julius Randle because the Knicks are playing Washington tonight. Randle, while solid, I kind of do like the under on this, regardless of what's happening with Washington. We have RJ Barrett back, who's just going to absorb a bunch of minutes. And then, it's Tom Thibodeau. Do we really know what's going on? What is your read on the Randall situation there? Let's assume both Gafford and Porzingis are out. For his best case scenario is all I'm going for here.
If they're out, then he's got to out rebound Taj Gibson. So I wouldn't feel super confident. But
Two-time former player. Did Gibson play for 3 different teams with Tibbs? I forget.
I think so.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a warm and fuzzy one, but I would feel a lot better if Porzingis and Gafford were in. And we've seen Kuzma be a good rebounder in that last game. An anomalic Avisa, 20 rebounds. So I don't know that that's going to be the norm, but perhaps he has found his calling, and maybe that'll impede Julius Randle's ability to get 12 rebounds. So, hey, Washington's your team. You I don't know. I guess you like the under here.
I like the under. If one or both of them play, I like the under. It's probably a stay away or a slight over if the other guys are out. It's just that's a big number there, and a lot of things can happen, right? Like you mentioned, Denny Avdia. He all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere at the boatload of rebounds. Kuzma has had 15, 17 rebound games, so it's not like we're lacking people here that can rebound. Plus, the other challenge is if the Wizards end up being shorthanded, they're going to play slower, right? That's just the way that Coach Wes Unseld Jr. is going to go with that. And then there's less rebounding opportunities. Now, could the team still miss a bunch of shots? Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't mean they're going to be better offensive shots. Just means there'll be less opportunities for rebounds would be my guess. So that's kind of one that you want to play through there in your mind to kind of see how it goes. De'Aaron Fox, another reasonable one, 7.5 is the assist line. We have 6.7. If you go look at Fox, yeah, he's the point guard. We just talked about how good Domantas Sabonis was with the assists. It's because while Fox is the point guard, he's a score first point guard, right? And he's got a perfectly good facilitator on the other side. They've got, not Buddy Hield, because of course he's now with the Pacers, but they have Harrison Barnes. They've got Malik Monk. They've got Kevin Huerter if he plays, right? They've got a bunch of wings that can do the secondary facilitation. So Fox, while we always like him in DFS, he always has 40 fantasy point upside. It's because he has the access to 30 NBA points. And then if he gets his handful of rebounds and 8 or 9 assists, we're cooking. But a lot of games he gets under that. So I don't ever mind looking for the unders on the Fox assists there. You want, just because someone's a point guard doesn't mean that they're, going to get all the assists. Najee Marshall. Ooh. Surprise Najee Marshall. Najee Marshall, can the magic continue? Would you take the under on 17.5 points? Or do you feel he's going to have the mojo again?
I guess Detroit. So
picking on him.
Yeah, I do. I definitely like it with point guards. Like I said, we're replacing a lot of shots with the Zion and Ingram. I do think the rotation here for the Pelicans is starting to become a little bit more saturated, and not
Larry
just
Nance is back.
Nance, the Hernan Gomez's. So maybe there is some opportunity for Najee's under here. And then if we're just looking at straight up usage, when CJ on, Ingram, Zion off, we've got CJ first, Jonas Valanciunas second, and then it's Najee at 18%, which is enough to kind of lean to lean either way. But if you had a feeling in your bad knee, the under, it makes some sense here. But yeah. I don't like that he's been taking consistent double-digit shot attempts, but 18 points in the last 2 games. He's due.
18, 24, 23, 16. It's like they've got the number set correctly here. And this is why I wanted to talk through this one. It's real hard to make a 5-leg parlay on live odds and feel real good about it, even with 21x. So I always espouse 2 and 3-leg parlays. And if you like 4 or 5 picks, well, then kind of mix those together, decrease your amount a little bit. And then if you hit 1 or 2 of those, it would pay for your, say you did $5 wagers. If you hit 1 or 2 of your 2x and a 2 and a 3, you pay for yourself. If you get one other one, that's all profit, right? To get 5 out of 5, and we know we're getting 21x, which is generous. It's more than anybody else. That means you're hitting it 1 out of every 21 times. I can tell you it's closer to 1 out of every 24 times that you're going to hit it. That's like once a month. Where's the fun in that? I want the dopamine hit of getting some green on my on my mobile device or my phone, where I can play No House Advantage.
Yeah, I agree.
Aim small, miss small, right? You're not you believe in that too, right? You don't go for, you play the smart payouts. You look for the right size GPP contest, stuff like that, right? You know, because you know where it's like a 0.1% lineup, a 0.999% lineup. If it ain't first, it ain't 0.999. Right?
I agree. For content, I haven't played the Millie Maker all year. Just on that line of thinking. That's how I pay rent. So I'm out here trying to EV shop for contests for sure. I wish I could sports bet legally in Texas, a little bit more readily available. But I definitely believe in shopping for the best opportunities and creating the best EV possible.
Yeah, and that's what we've got, all the free tools here for you guys. So again, we're going to start wrapping up here, but that's No House Advantage. You get in their contest tonight. Reminder: if you get in, put your lineups in, but you pick players from the later games, you can still go back and adjust those until the game's locked. Now you're going to lose out on anything that locks, right? Just like the other DFS sites. But on the night like last night, where there was one 7:00 game, if you were in a hurry trying to get in all your contests, you said, I'm just going to put placeholders in everything from the 8:00 and beyond. And guess what? The last couple nights, the double headers on the West Coast. Oh, that's where all the fun and goodness has been, right? So we've got that again tonight. So you can pick a bunch of players there, then just take a breath, have a little bit of dinner, come back, a little bit before 8 and just kind of get everything in order, see what you want. I have to play 1 or 2 lineups over there. For those of you that are disciplined, they have that, we've got the download our CSV, upload what you want over there. They have their own lineup generator built in to No House Advantage as well. You can set the little parameters that you want, create some cards, export those right into their tournaments from their sites. And then, of course, we got the free projections both formats here on Stokastic. So we got you covered. The promo code, or probably the link in below us here in the description, go through that. That'll get you a $100 deposit match on your first deposit. A lot of ways to start out with a little green in your account. That's what we like to see. But we're going to get on out of here. You can follow Gun at Gundacker. You can tune in for more Stokastic content brought to you by No House Advantage. 4:45 today, you're going to get Adam Scherer and Josh Engelman on the deeper dive. And then at 6 o'clock, you're going to get Team McBee, Terry McBride, with a special guest and a bonus 30 minutes, all brought to you by No House Advantage today. Another 2.5 hours of basketball coming up here on the Stokastic YouTube channel. I am at EMac DFS on Twitter. It is Stokastic_COM on Twitter. With that, gamers, good luck.